Nearly 500 South Korean workers have been detained in the largest US immigration raid in decades, this time at a Hyundai battery plant in Georgia. Seoul is now rushing to repatriate its citizens, even as Donald Trump weaponizes the crackdown to push his higher American agenda. The arrests, coming just after Seoul pledged massive US investments, expose a harsh reality. Washington's economic partnership with South Korea is secondary to Trump's political theater on immigration. South Korea is arranging the return of hundreds of its citizens detained in the United States. After a raid in Georgia last week, a presidential official in Seoul said on September 7th. Negotiations to secure the release of about 300 South Korean workers have been completed, and processing for their departure is underway, President Lee Jae-myung's office confirmed. A chartered plane will be dispatched once administrative steps between the two governments are finalized, though no details were given on the procedures involved. The presidential office added that Seoul will push forward measures to review and improve the residency status and visa system for personnel traveling to the United States. Yonhap quoted South Korean Consul General in Washington Cho Ki-jung as saying the workers are expected to fly home on September 10th. Later the same day, US President Donald Trump struck a more conciliatory tone while reaffirming his hardline immigration stance. He said he would review the circumstances of the raid at a Hyundai Motor 05380KS facility in Georgia, stressing the incident had not damaged ties with South Korea.
You know, look, it's a battery factory in that case, as I'm told. And, you know, when they're building batteries, if you don't have people in this country right now that know about batteries, maybe we should help them along and let some people come in and train our people to do, you know, complex things, whether it's battery manufacturing or computer manufacturing or building ships. So we're going to look at that whole situation. We have a lot of industries that we don't have anymore, and we're going to have to train people. And the way you train people is bring people in that know what they're doing and let them stay for a little while and help. So I'm going to look at that. So it's a very interesting situation that took place in Georgia. And we heard about it yesterday. At the same time, ICE was doing right because they were here illegally. But we do have to work something out where we bring in experts so that our people can be trained so that they can do it themselves. Does that make sense? Right?
Is it straining the relationship with Korea at all?
No, we have a great relationship with South Korea. Really good relationship. You know, we just made a trade deal. But I'm going to look at it because I understand exactly what they're saying.
Trump posted on his Truth Social site that,
"I am hereby calling on all foreign companies investing in the United States to please respect our nation's immigration laws. Your investments are welcome, and we encourage you to legally bring your very smart people with great technical talent to build world-class products, and we will make it quickly and legally possible for you to do so."
Trump made the post shortly after telling reporters he would look at what happened, but that the incident had not harmed his relationship with South Korea. Notably, US federal agents arrested about 475 workers at Hyundai's car battery plant in Elabel, Georgia, on September 4th in the largest single-site enforcement operation in the history of the Department of Homeland Security's investigative operations. The raid came just 11 days after a summit between Trump and Lee at the White House, where South Korean firms pledged $150 billion in US investments. In July, Seoul pledged another $350 billion in US projects in an effort to reduce Trump's threatened tariffs, which he later set at 15%. Meanwhile, South Korea said the US government's release of images of the arrest of hundreds of Korean workers was regrettable, especially as the incident followed so closely after a summit between the two nations' leaders. First, Vice Foreign Minister Park Yoon-joo told US Under-Secretary of State for Political Affairs, Alison Hooker, in a telephone call that it was regrettable the incident occurred at a critical time, when the momentum of trust and cooperation between the two leaders forged through their first summit must be maintained, the Foreign Ministry said in a statement late on September 6th. Park also asked Hooker to ensure a fair and swift resolution to the matter.
The economic activities of our companies that have invested in the U.S. and the rights and interests of our citizens should not be unfairly infringed upon during the course of U.S. law enforcement.
The video and photos of the raid, which involved a helicopter and armored vehicles, showed hundreds of workers standing in front of a building, some wearing yellow vests with the names Hyundai or LGCNS. 2 workers hid in a pond before they were arrested. President Donald Trump said in a Truth Social post that foreign companies needed to hire and train American workers and respect immigration laws, following a raid in the US state of Georgia last week.
What we ask in return is that you hire and train American workers. Together, we will all work hard to make our nation not only productive, but closer in unity than ever before.
He also floated the idea that he would look at the possibility of some foreign manufacturing experts being allowed into the country to help train American workers.